My focus on the book was to look at the role that the arts played in influencing and advancing the ideology of Black consciousness in communities. I spoke to people like Ndaba Walisirode, who said something that was profound to me, that they were actually not protest poets, they were not Soweto poets, they were revolutionaries. I also spoke to people that are practicing the same art today, and basically what they're doing, people like Mac Manaka. So what they're doing is basically to instill the same mentality of being a revolutionary into communities, and that is the basic fundamental of Black consciousness, to first empower your community.
My role in this project was to do research around broad topics, from the role that Christianity played in the development of Black consciousness, to the links with Black power and other solidarity movements around the world from the 1960s to the early 1980s. But during that process, it was very interesting as a white person and as a white writer to find out how profound the role was of white people from the church, from academia, from literature, in developing Black consciousness and beginning to understand it and create it as a philosophy, even more than an ideology in the minds of South Africans. So you would have academics like Rick Turner, who lost his life to the struggle, but who played a very important role in finding capacity, together with Steve Biko and other groups, in making the philosophy real for people in communities. Of course, Beyers Naudé remains intrinsically linked to the Black consciousness movement, despite the fact that he started off as an Afrikaner dominee. So there were many ways in which white people could find themselves in Black consciousness without having to apologize for being white. And that made this process of researching and writing a peculiarly important journey for me as a white middle-aged person in South Africa.
I grew up in Kimberley and had an opportunity to meet with one of Steve Biko's best friends, Reverend Stan Ndwasa. I knew where he lived. We shared the same friends. We walked the streets of Khalishiwe. But I never had an opportunity to ask him who Steve Biko was until he died. And I regretted why I failed to ask that question. It is for that reason that I went on a journey to discover who Steve Biko was. I really needed to know who this giant of Black consciousness is. I've managed, fortunately, to identify some of his closest friends, like Professor Nengwekulu, Bokwe Mafuna, and quite a number of others who are still alive today.
My role in this project was to bring to life the stories of the women in the Black consciousness movement. I came across the stories of women like Deborah Machova, Mamphela Ramphela, and many others who had gone to the grassroots to get people knowing more about themselves. Equally so, I got the chance to go behind and find the women behind Fees Must Fall. For me, both projects came full circle because women in both time zones fought to have their space. They fought to not be erased. And both of them all wanted the same thing, for Black people to actualize and to understand their role in our society today. It was a refreshing experience, but as a young Black woman, it was also moving because I realized how much more work still needs to be done.